Tim Ryan and Johnny Unitas at Bloomington, Minnesota, as we look at Bart Starr consulting there with Zeke Bratkowski to try and get something going for the Pack. This is their best field position of this entire game so far at the 30-yard line following the short punt from Claybo. Odom and Vataha are the wide receivers. Harrell and Barney Smith are the running backs. It is Harrell trying to get wide, cannot do it. Jeff Wright, number 23, put the hit on him. Seaman got a piece of him and kind of turned him into Jeff Wright, who came up smartly to make the stop, a gain of a yard. Well, the Jets hanging in there against the favored Patriots, 20-14 in the third period. Baltimore still 7-0 over Buffalo. And Pittsburgh has gone ahead of Cleveland, 21-14 with 10:57 remaining in the third period. Terry Bradshaw passing to Lynn Swann. Rookie Jim Culbreth in the backfield for Green Bay, and Lynn Dickey, unhappy with something, is called a timeout. He wants to go and consult with Bart Starr at the sideline.
I don't believe Den got the right formation in there. He wasn't happy with the setup as it was when he came out of the huddle to the line of scrimmage. He's called timeout to go over and talk to Coach Bart Starr and Zeke Bratkowski. That puts three quarterbacks in the huddle. They ought to be able to come up with something out there.
You're right, John. Culbreth went out, having just come in for that preceding play, and they sent in a wide receiver for him. So let's see what happens here. Culbreth, as we mentioned, has just rejoined the club, and the rookie from Oklahoma has not really had a chance to carry the ball as yet. And we've got this opportunity to remind you that next Saturday on CBS, the Sports Spectacular will feature highlights from the U.S. Grand Prix, also the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship, and another edition of the World's Strongest Men at 4:30 Eastern Time. Which of those are you going to look forward to?
Well, I want to watch that karate. I'd like to have that brick concession out there until they get finished kicking them around.
Vataha, Odom, and Payne are all in there. Three wide receivers with Barty Smith. So the Packers have made their intentions clear. They're behind 13-7. Dickey with a rush is sacked at the 20-yard line. It is Alan Page, number 88, the veteran from Notre Dame. A big loss, 10 yards. It'll be 3rd and 20.
Let's watch Page to see what he does to the offensive man. He just runs back to the outside, and the offensive man actually gets picked off on a game up front by Page and Marshall. Page going to the outside, Marshall coming inside, picks one of the offensive men off and allows Page to come free.
3rd and 20 for the Packers at 3rd and 20.
The two wide receivers in this passing situation and trying to get it to Payne, but it's incomplete. It was a long sideline pass for Dickey to throw, and the Packers will have to punt again. They have not been able to move the ball.
Dickey has been low with the ball all afternoon, and right there he had his man open. All he had to do was put it up there about 2 or 3 feet to him, and he wouldn't have had the first down, but he would have had the completion.
David Beverly will punt from his own 6-yard line. Manfred Moore waiting for it at the 36th, Minnesota. Beverly, another good punt. Taken by Moore at the 36. Gets out to the 45 where he's hit by a pile of Packers. And again, good field position for the Minnesota Vikings as they continue to lead in the ball game 13-7, but more importantly, in keeping the ball much of this first half. They have had most of the possession. Well, next Sunday on CBS, you'll see these regional doubleheaders, Philadelphia and the New York Giants, Detroit at Minnesota. Depending on the regions you live in, you'll see those two games. And we'll tell you the rest of our telecast schedule in a moment. Tarkenton on first down will throw. Intended for Voigt and broken up by Gary Weaver, number 52. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Weaver defending.
Good coverage by the Green Bay Packers. Francis moving to his right really hurts himself by rolling that way, but of course that's the way the play is designed. when you roll to the right, you really limit yourself to the amount of field you have to work with as far as throwing the football. But it has been successful for the Minnesota Vikings for the past few years, and I'm sure they're not going to discard it.
Ezra Johnson in at defensive end in this passing situation. He's number 78. Draw play, and Dave Roller was waiting for that one. 2nd and 10. Tarkenton had indicated he might try that, and Dave Roller must have read his mind. So he lost a couple on the play, and here's the rest of our lineup next Sunday. Dallas and St. Louis, Atlanta and San Francisco, Washington and Tampa Bay. Those are the regional doubleheaders next Sunday here on CBS. Consult your local listings for the games and times in your area. Some cities will see only a single game due to the NFL blackout policy. The NFL on CBS next Sunday. Wagner and Randolph are into the game again as we have 6 defensive backs for Green Bay. 3rd and 12. Good heat from Roller. And Tarkenton threw it in the general direction of Stu Voigt, and that's good enough to prevent the penalty.
Smart play by Francis to get rid of the football. All he was going to manage back there was a big loss, but Stu Voigt was over there. Francis threw it short. Voigt was covered fairly well.
That was the best defensive sequence for the Packers here this afternoon. They completely shut down the Vikings on that series. And standing back to punt will be Neil Clabo at his own 30. Willard Harrell is the lone receiver waiting at the 14-yard line of Green Bay. Another short punt by Clabo. Hits at the 30, gets a good bounce. And Harrell is going to let it roll, and Clabo turns that one into a pretty good punt. It'll be first down for Green Bay at the 12-yard line. You think he practices that bounce in practice?
That was a mistake on Harrell's part. I believe he should have picked that up as the ball was bouncing, or just fell on it to save us some yardage and get some better field position than what he's had.
Some other scores. The Eagles lead Detroit 13-10. 8:50 to play in the 3rd period. Dallas 17, Tampa Bay 7 with 9:54 remaining in the 2nd period. New Orleans in front of Chicago 14-7 in the 2nd quarter. And we mentioned Pittsburgh leading Cleveland now 21-14 early in the 3rd period. Harrell trying wide left. Duck White, number 72, steaming along the line of scrimmage, along with Mark Mullaney, number 77. The 2 youngsters, and you know, this brings the opportunity to talk about the so-called old Vikings, John. They have been bringing along Mullaney, a 3rd-year man, White, a 2nd-year man, as replacements for the aging members of the front 4. This club is not as old as one might think.
Well, everyone thinks they're old because you have Page and Eller and Sutherland, and of course Marshall playing continually. These fellas, as you mentioned, Mullaney has come in, been 3rd year, but doing a fine job when he's been put into the ball game. And I'm sure that they're preparing both of these fellows on the outside for the retirement of Eller and Marshall eventually.
Scott Studwell, a rookie and another of the young players, getting a chance to play today. Barty Smith, the ball carrier on it. A gain of 3, it'll be 3rd and 3. And Studwell, number 55, putting the tackle on. The Vikings have Wally Hilgenberg inactive today. He's got an ankle sprain. And their 3rd-string quarterback, rookie Tom Kramer. Sitting it out along with Ollie Smith for Green Bay is Dennis Havig, who has a broken hand. The pass for Harrell. They're trying to set the screen up over there, but the Vikings stripped that down. He may even have lost a yard on the play. It was Studwell, number 55, the rookie, in there again on the hit.
You know, Tim, the Minnesota Vikings really don't try to confuse you defensively, especially in the secondary. You can pretty much read what they're going to do and tell beforehand what they're going to do. It's just a matter that they have superior play back there, and they execute so well. And especially with Green Bay, they have not been able to take advantage of that situation.
Beverly standing on his 5-yard line. And deep is Manfred Moore. Good punt from Beverly. He's been the best part of the Green Bay offense. Manfred Moore running well, gets it over the 45 to the 47 for Minnesota, and an appreciative round of applause for the efforts of the new kick and punt returner for the Vikings, Manfred Moore. Well, we mentioned that Sports Spec next week. John Unitas wants the brick concession in the full contact karate championship. Bill Superfoot Wallace will defend his title against Pat Worley. Actually, they don't use bricks in that event. And Superfoot is called that because of the well-known quickness of his left leg. I don't know how they did it, but it says here they've timed it at 60 miles an hour. I want to see the timing of that.
Must have been in some type of a wind tunnel or
Robert
somewhere.
Miller. Robert Miller, the ball carrier, did not gain a thing as the Packers rise up. Mike Butler, number 77, put the hit on him. I love that.
An interesting statistic, Green Bay with 3 yards gain in the whole ball game so far. And I don't believe they've had but 1 first down. Minnesota has really controlled it.
And that's with the exception, of course, of that touchdown that Odom scored. 95-yard play. Darkington on second down. A flag is down. Complete to Foreman. Foreman runs away from people. Still going. Finally stopped by Willie Buchanan at the 40-yard line of Green Bay. The flag is down back in the Minnesota backfield. Preliminary signal is holding, and it would appear that gain will be wiped out.
Well, there again is one of those penalties we talked about before the ball game. That makes the 14th one that they've had as far as penalties are concerned in the 3 ball games that they've played.
All we can say in their behalf is they have cut down on them today, but of course this game is not yet half over.
Well, I believe that makes 2 so far.
Offensive holding, number 68.
That's Goodrum, the guilty party this time, and it'll be 2nd and 20. Sammy Johnson is in for Chuck Foreman in the Vikings backfield. And the Packers remain. There are the Saints leading the Bears 14-7 there, and the Bears expected to be a contender in this Central Division this season. Wagner and Randolph are now in, and the linebackers Carter and Weaver go out for Green Bay. So now we have the 6 defensive backs here on 3rd down. Steelers continue to lead the Browns 21-14 in the 3rd period. Tarkenton with lots of time and just missing Sammy White. And right with him all the way was Willie Buchanan, number 28 for Green Bay. So again, the Packers stop the Vikings. Minnesota will have to punt. So the Pack at least starting to do some things well defensively, Johnny, here, although they have not been able to get the ball moving offensively.
Well, Buchanan has a hard job to do, cover Sammy White one-on-one all afternoon if that's where they're going to play him. And so far they have been doing that. Sammy White's come up with some good catches. Francis was just a little bit long with that football. Otherwise, it would have been another first down for the Minnesota Vikings.
Claybo punting from the 32-yard line, and again another short kick for Claybo. Has been having his problems here today. It's down at the 28-yard line of Green Bay. The wind is blowing against Claybo and for Beverly, and we've had good punting by Beverly and not so good by Claybo, but nonetheless Claybo has been somewhat inconsistent this season so far. So Lynn Dickey will try and get the Packers moving. We have 3:38 remaining here in the first half. Tim Ryan and John Unitas of Bloomington, Minnesota is just a 13-7 ball game, remember. Despite the dominance by Minnesota, they lead by only 6. Harrell, nowhere.
Tim, Green Bay is going to have to start throwing the football on a first down situation to loosen up that defense more instead of waiting for 2nd or 3rd down. You get 2nd and 3rd down, it becomes rather difficult to throw the football. They know you're going to have to go with it. They're going to put the big rush on you. First down is a run-pass situation, and I always like to see teams throw the ball at least 50% on a first down. That way you keep the defense honest and keep them guessing as to what you're going to do.
Chuck White made that last tackle. He's getting a lot of playing time now at Doug Sutherland's spot. Good job to Harrell. Trying the short side. He got maybe a yard on the play. Alan Page came all the way from right tackle along with Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, number 50. Scott Studwell, number 55, has been playing at the left linebacker for Matt Blair. Blair is bothered by a knee that he injured early in the game last week against Tampa Bay, and Studwell has been giving him some relief today. Seaman playing outside and Studwell inside, so that Studwell, while he's in for Blair, is actually playing the middle linebacker spot, and Seaman on the left side. Dickey, 3rd and 6. Intended for McGeorge, who did not appear to be quite ready to catch that ball. And John, what's a quarterback think when was McGeorge a little slow to turn and look there, or did Dickey throw it a little early?
Well, Dickey was right on the target. I think what happened is McGeorge messed up on his footwork out. He probably hit a soft spot and was not able to come back for the football. Dickey was right where he wanted to be with the football. McGeorge was not around quickly enough, but I do think he may have hit a soft spot in the field where he lost balance for a moment.
What do you say to him when he goes to the sideline in that situation, John?
Know where that spot is and don't go in it anymore.
Another big punt by Beverly. Driving Moore back. He made a good catch at the 10-yard line. That could have been dangerous. Moore works his way back to the 15 as he shook off the first tackler. And that is a disgruntled Terry Randolph, number 23, who had him at the 10. Moore made a good effort to get it back out, and they're going to spot it at the 16. Andre Thompson finally put the stop on him. Towering punt by David Beverly, who has been a big man today for the Pack. 59 yards on the punt. So Green Bay starting deep now from the 16. Tarkenton throwing on first down. Foreman alone up the middle has the first down. And he has it out at the 27-yard line of the Vikings, who quickly get out of the hole. And so with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, the Vikings 13, the Packers 7.
When you walk through the lobby of a Napa store, you only get a hint of what Napa really has to offer. There's much more, because if we put just one part from every kind of vehicle that Napa has to offer in this lobby, you wouldn't have room to walk. So we put them in this Napa shopping guide instead. Walk through the lobby of your local Napa store today and pick up your free copy. Your Napa store is a great auto supply store, but they've got more, much more. That's NAPA. We help keep America moving.
Now, let me tell you something. I've eaten the dust of many a rodeo, and I built up some kind of a thirst. That's why I drank light beer from Miller. It has a third less calories than the regular beer, and it tastes real good. Light says giddy up to all that flavor, and woe to being filled up. And that ain't no book. What?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Unitas. We have 2 minutes remaining in the first half here at Bloomington, Minnesota, with the Vikings leading a close game on the scoreboard, 13-7. The odd score, a missed point after attempt by Fred Cox. The Vikings have thoroughly dominated the first half, but the Packers have stopped them on 2 successive series, and thus the score remains only a 6-point margin for Minnesota. First down. Complete to Foreman, goes right out of bounds, and a flag is down after that pass was thrown by Tarkenton.
There's a flag down.
On the rush was Butler, number 77, along with Dave Roller, number 74, and the penalty is against Minnesota. So now they have taken their third penalty of this first half. And as Johnny Unitas has commented, they've had problems in the first couple of games with penalties. They got through the first quarter without one, I think, but now they're having some problems again.
Offensive holding, number 73.
That was on Ron Yeri that time. Butler took that outside rush once he saw Francis going to the outside, and Yeri had a hard time keeping up with him, so he just reached in and tried to help himself a little bit.
Vikings at their 18.
First and 20. Robert Miller, number 35. Good running by Miller. Got close to 10. See where they spotted it was Dave Purifoy, number 75, with help from Fred Carr making the tackle. Call it an 11-yard gain for Robert Miller, 2nd and 9.
2nd and 9 for the Vikings at their 29.
Rashad comes wide left, number 28. Sammy White is split to the right side, number 85. Foreman, it's complete, and looks like another flag down back there.
Ezra Johnson came in a little bit late on Francis and kind of just hit him one time and said, "Hi, I'm number 78, Ezra Johnson." He said, "We'll hire you. That'll cost you 15 in the first down."
I'm just a rookie from Morris Brown, wanted to introduce myself.
Right.
Well, a tough break for the Pack because there's an aggressive rookie trying to do his job on the pass rush.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 78, defense.
Ezra Johnson, who can really fly it as a 4.5 40, this youngster. He was their second pick on the first round. They have high hopes for him, and you have to feel badly when that happens to a youngster because he's just really trying to do his best out there. More likely to make that kind of a over-aggressive mistake. So a break for the Vikings as they have first down at their own 49. It's complete to Robert Miller, and Miller works his way to the 43-yard line of Green Bay before Steve Luke put the stop on him and got help from linebacker Gary Weaver.
The thing that's really tough about that penalty on Johnson, Tim, is that one more play like that and Minnesota will be in field goal range. And they have contained him pretty much in his last 5 or 6 minutes,
right, except
for that penalty. Of course, Francis knows how to use that clock better than anybody in the game today. He's been cutting it around, little passes to his halfback. So you see Francis Tarkenton's statistics, 19 attempts, 14 completions for 151 yards, and no interceptions. He's had 5 so far this season, and he only occurred 8 last season for the whole season. So he's throwing the ball well this afternoon as he did last week, but they did have 1 or 2 interceptions last week.
1:09 to go as Tarkenton comes back on the field, and some other scores before we go to halftime. New Orleans leading Chicago now 21-7 with a minute left in the first half there. Detroit in front of Philadelphia 17-13 in the third quarter. Atlanta leading the New York Giants 10-0 in the third quarter. And Dallas in front of Tampa Bay 20-7 in the second period. Second and a little more than 2 to go. Miller has the first down and keeps right on going down near the 30-yard line of Green Bay. Finally stopped by Mike Butler, number 77, and so the Vikings, with 54 seconds on the clock, are now moving into scoring position. Good blocking by Ron Yary, leading Robert Miller on that play. Flag down. Tarkenton's pass is blocked. Looked like it was blocked by his own man. That stops the clock, if nothing else. 40 seconds left up there.
Well, and to just show you how much the Vikings have controlled this football game, they have 43 plays offensively to Green Bay's 18.
Offside is called against Green Bay, John, so the Vikings get a break again. And 2 penalties here have hurt the Packers in this final 2-minute drive by Minnesota.
Number 75.
Dave Purifoy, number 75. Guilty man on that last penalty. Wide left is Sammy White. Now goes in motion, turns it upfield, and Tarkenton under pressure. They have him. The first man to graze him was Butler, and Dave Purifoy finished him off. 36 seconds remaining on the clock. And Tarkenton has called timeout immediately. He lost 5 yards on that play.
Dave Purifoy doesn't know that the ball was blown dead. He wants that fumble. Let's take a look at Francis and see what happens here. He just gets a fine rush. Ron Yary does not block Butler. Butler's in there. Purifoy in there as well. Dave Roller standing around looking. He say, "That'll go, fellas." But Francis, smart enough to know what to do with it, calls timeout. They're still in pretty good field goal range.
Let's make it a 10-yard loss on the play, a correction. It is 2nd and 15. They need to get to the 20 for the first down. And there's our reminder as we have 36 remaining here in this first half. We'll be going to Brent, Phyllis, and Irv. They'll have all of the scores for you right up to the minute around the National Football League today, along with some special features. Tarkenton, after consulting with Bud Grant, comes back on to get ready here as the Vikings would sure like to get one more before they go to the locker room. Here, as we have commented, they have dominated play but lead by only 6 points. So the Packers still very much in this football game. They made a big play in the opening minute, and one more big play could have them ahead, provided they can stop the Vikings on this series.
Vikings at the Green Bay 35.
Pressure again. It's out to Miller. Miller is met at the 30-yard line after a gain of about 6 by Jim Carter, number 50, and Carr, number 53, coming over there.
Let's take a look at Miller coming out of the backfield. As you see, he stops to look for a linebacker if he's going to come. Miller, he's the number one designation right here, just to get the ball to him. Hopefully he can cut back, pick up some good yardage, and put him closer to the field goal range. You see Stu Voigt down there trying to block for Miller. He was a number one receiver. Francis just wanted to get it to him. Green Bay with 2 timeouts left, Minnesota with 1. I'm sure they'll hold that last timeout until for the field goal. Try maybe 1 or 2 more plays. They get closer, maybe a draw possible, and then you can get it down into field goal range and then bring in the big foot.
The big foot. Cox has been a little bit inconsistent with his field goal kicking in the preseason and in the first 2 games, as Clabo has with the punting for Minnesota, but I'm sure Fred is confident at this moment that he can come up with a 3 if they can get him close enough.
They had a correction on that timeouts. Timmy Francis has no more timeouts left, so that what he does here will have to be done quickly. Possibly run a play, line up, throw the ball out of bounds, what have you, anything to stop the clock. It's 3rd down now, though.
3rd and 8 yards to go for the first down.
This has to be incomplete, if anything at all.
Good pressure on him. It was Mike Butler making the hit with Dave Purifoy right behind him, and the Packers got good pressure and, more importantly, had good coverage downfield. Steve Luke on Foreman.
And just as importantly, have put him out of field goal range for right now. Francis has 1 more play to go. Let's watch the good rush by Purifoy. Butler coming over Yeri. Purifoy coming in. Watch Butler sack him. There it is. Half's over. Green Bay Packers 7 and the Minnesota Vikings 13 at halftime.
Minnesota's marching ambassador, representing Long Prairie, a central Minnesota community of 2,500 people. This 125-member organization has traveled from coast to coast to participate in Vikings celebrations.
Will the insurance fix our chimney?
Sure, after we plow through the paperwork.
It's different with Allstate.
What's different?
We have the world's largest team of claims specialists.
Don't worry about a thing.
They settle most claims like this without estimates.
No problem.
Allstate specialists are interested in you, not paperwork.
I'll call the contractor today.
Oh.
That was easy.
When it takes being different to be better, Allstate will do it.
That's a promise from us, the Good Hands people.
Energy for a stronger America.
This is a remarkable energy-saving machine called SCAMP. Exxon developed SCAMP to clean the hulls of giant tankers. It can scrub marine growth from an entire supertanker in just half a day. Because a clean ship moves through the water more efficiently, we can save thousands of gallons of fuel every voyage. SCAMP, technology from Exxon that can help save energy for a strong America.
Now Black & Decker has come along with a handyman's helper that's mighty strong. It's small and light, but it pulls its weight. It's the super incredible workmate. Yeah, it's more than a bench and more than a vise. It's got both things working, and that's kind of nice. You can pound on it, a saw on it, a plane door on it, and a whole lot more. Yeah, when you're alone and there's work to do, the workmate'll help you see it through.
I want that man now. He will come back here tomorrow with me. You have my word.
Oh, Daniel, when are you going to learn?
A settler's betrayal turns the Indians against Daniel Boone. Now he must prove himself in a savage Cherokee trial or die. Young Daniel Boone, Tuesday night at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of the U.S. Grand Prix from Watkins Glen. Live coverage of the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship with Bill Superfoot Wallace defending his title against Pat Worley. And the World's Strongest Men competition featuring the Steel Bar Bend contest. That's next Saturday at 4:30.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Unitas at Bloomington, Minnesota. We're at halftime. The Vikings lead 13-7 over the Green Bay Packers. Cox having missed the extra point, and thus the 13-7 score. And a game that saw in that first half the Vikings have the ball for 21 minutes and 21 seconds, John. They should be farther ahead, except that the Packers kind of rose up there in the second period and on 3 consecutive series managed to stop the Vikings' attack.
The Green Bay Packers have played some good defense the last couple minutes. They did not play good defense in the first quarter, Tim. As you mentioned, the Minnesota Vikings took the ball and just ran it and threw it at will. Francis doing an outstanding job, I think, of play calling, hitting Sammy White downfield and Rashad as well, and then going course with Foreman and Miller coming out of the backfield.
We saw an outstanding play in the first minute by the Green Bay Packers as they took the lead to the pass to Odom that went 95 yards, a little sideliner on 3rd and 11. He made a good catch, and then realizing that he had not been down, Nate Wright looked like he might have been going for the ball on the play, and Odom got up very alertly. That was a fine play.
Nate thought he had a chance for the interception. The ball was thrown low. Odom made a diving catch for it. As you mentioned, a good reflexive act by Odom to get up and, of course, avoid one tackler and go on for the 95-yard touchdown run.
So Green Bay had the lead, and it didn't last long, however, because Tarkenton passed to Sammy White, a 16-yard touchdown that resulted in a 7-7 tie with the drive going 80 yards in 15 plays. And then in the second period, Foreman scored from 3 yards out after another long, time-consuming drive, 72 yards in 13 plays. Cox missed that point after, and thus the 13-7 score. But you do have the feeling that Minnesota feels that they can move the ball pretty much the way they want to against Green Bay, and I guess the Packers trying to convince them otherwise.
Well, they have had success at doing what they wanted to, and they've done an excellent job of it. The Green Bay Packers, of course, coming back and playing some good defensive football. Offensively, they haven't done anything, Tim. They have not had over 1 first down in the first half, which is good ball control by the Vikings. Of course, good defensive play too. Len Dickey has been low with most of the balls he's thrown all afternoon.
I had the Packers against New Orleans in the first game of the season. Dickey threw very well down there today, but he just hasn't been able to get it going here today. They've had only 19 yards rushing, 84 yards passing. So their net total yardage 103 against 207 by the Vikings, double, as you can tell. So we've got some other scores around the league, and we can take a look at those now as we see Atlanta still leading the New York Giants 7-0. They are in the second period there. And the Falcons, of course, had that upset in the opening week over the Rams. Detroit leading Philadelphia 10-7 at the half. The Lions, of course, want to stay very much at contention here in the Central Division of the NFC, and they want that win there. They are favored, of course. Here's an interesting score as the Jets continue to give the Patriots all they can handle 20-14. They're in the third period. Greg Buttle scored for the Jets to keep that close. And this, an interesting tough ball game. The Cleveland Browns, who have won 2 tough games already, in there against Pittsburgh. They have Oakland next week to face, and they're hanging in against Pittsburgh 21-14. Dallas, as expected, ahead of Tampa Bay 17-0 at the half. Tampa Bay with a very tough defensive team, but unable to do much offensively. Baltimore and Buffalo, look at this one. Buffalo having some problems against the Colts having problems against Buffalo in the second period as they have a slender 7-0 lead. That's a bit of a surprise, although the Colts are hurting a little bit. But we're all through here with our scores at Bloomington. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Right now we're going to CBS in New York.
Irvin Phillips, I've just been handed a story that heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali said he will not fight anyone for another 8 months, and he will, as always, consider retiring. But, said Ali, I don't think that I am ready to retire yet. And now let's take you around the National Football League and quickly update the scores. In the fourth quarter, Atlanta holding on. Good defense against the Giants today. Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit leading 17-13. The Eagles had been ahead 13-10. New England and the New York Jets, this could be the big upset of the day. The Jets have played a standout football game, and they lead 27-20 in the fourth quarter now. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, the amazing Browns, hanging tough. 3 touchdown passes for Bradshaw in that game. Green Bay and Minnesota, many of you watching that game at the half. The Vikes lead 13-7. New Orleans and Chicago, many of you also watching this contest. And it is the Saints trying to win for the first time, ahead 21-10 at the half. Tampa Bay and Dallas at the half. The rest of you watching this contest, the Bucks have been able to score, but still it doesn't look as though they will win for the first time. An update on that Buffalo-Baltimore, the Bills have scored, and now they are tied at 7. And Phyllis George, speaking of updates, what about the United States Grand Prix?
It is raining in Watkins Glen. Excuse me, Glen Watkins. I've got so many names in my head today. CBS Sports Spectacular will bring you coverage of that race next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. But right now, let's go to Kenny Squire, who's trackside for a progress report in that rain. Ken, what's happening?
Well, Phyllis, under adverse conditions, King James the Fleet, James Hunt of England, is leading the United States Grand Prix here at Watkins Glen by only 11 seconds over the United States of America's Mario Andretti. Running third is South Africa's Jody Scheckter, while in fourth is Niki Lauda. There is Hunt the leader. Running in fifth on this very wet, rainy track is Carlos Reutemann of Argentina. Clay Regazzoni, the Swiss, is running seventh. He's being challenged by Ronnie Peterson of Sweden. Next in line, and Jacques Lafitte runs in the 8th position. Damian Gaius of the United States started 26. He moved all the way to 16th position, crashed. He is all right. Hans Stuck of West Germany, seeking his first Grand Prix victory, went out in front, led this race by as much as 8 seconds. Then he, too, has crashed here in the rain. Most of the cars are all on wet tires, and those tires, as the track is now beginning to dry out, are beginning to have problems. They may lose their tires before this one is over. James Hunt, right here, your leader in turn 1.
And again, you will see that race next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
The NFL Today will continue after this word from your local station. Archie Bunker pursues his dream to buy Kelsey's Bar in a 1-hour season premiere of All in the Family tonight on CBS.
Terry Bradshaw has just run for a touchdown in the Steelers in the fourth quarter. They kicked the extra point. It is 28-14 now, Pittsburgh over Cleveland. And with highlights, let's take a look at the New York Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. The Giants unable to score, and this play set up the Falcons' first touchdown. It was a punt to Lawrence, and watch him bust a couple of weak tackles here, coming back down the sideline. They couldn't pull him down from his ankle, and he got down to the Giants' 34-yard line. Scott Hunter, who once played in a playoff game with the Green Bay Packers against the Washington Redskins, on the keeper, got it down to the 1-inch line. And from there, Scott handed off to Ely, who busted across, and after the extra point, it was 7-0. Here's the Falcon defense in action. I've been telling you about them. Goldstein, formerly of Northern Illinois. There he is, sacked by Lewis. Watch now, Kuykendall going to get in on him and deflect the pass. Well, I'll tell you, if the Falcons win today, they'll be 2-1, and they had a chance to beat Washington. Watch this interception. Here's Ray Brown. They're doing an excellent job today in the fourth quarter, shutting out the Giants. Irv?
Tell you, Brent, I'm trying to listen to the Philadelphia Eagle-Detroit game right now. Ron Jaworski just went out of the game with a leg injury in the fourth quarter, but the Lions are leading that game by a score of 17-13. Here's Ron here at quarterback right now, 3rd and 16 on the Philadelphia 22-yard line. He goes to the air, but the ball's picked off here by Levi Johnson, who makes a nifty run back up to the 14-yard line, setting up a Dexter Buzzy score. You'll see it in a second as Buzzy goes off his right end, blast upfield for a nifty 14-yard run. Detroit draws first blood, 7-0. Philadelphia tries to come back as Jaworski again goes to the air, this time to his tight end Krepley, makes a nifty catch. Touchdown, Philadelphia, and it's all knotted up 7-7. Jaworski handing off this time to Mike Hogan, a pretty nifty running back. He makes a real neat run here, working off to his left side, coming upfield, goes all the way down to the 1-yard line. Jaworski goes to the air again, this time looking for his biggest receiver, 6'8" Harold Carmichael. He catches on to it. The Eagles take a temporary lead, 10-13, because they missed the extra point. Landry counters with another pass himself. Dexter Buzzy goes in for a score. Detroit leads 17-13 in the fourth quarter, and Jaworski is out with an injury.
Irvin Phillips, the Green Bay Packers struck first in their game against the Minnesota Vikings. It was a 95-yard pass that we're going to show you. Lynn Dickey, formerly of Houston, unloading it to Odom, who has got speed as he gets up and he was not down on the play, and he just ran it the rest of the way. And after the extra point, it was 7-0, Packers over the Vikes. But Tarkenton came back. Remember the sensational rookie of a year ago, Sammy White, that great catch he made in the playoffs? Here's a touchdown to White after the extra point tied at 7. Chuck Foreman then went across for a touchdown. Extra point failed, and it was 13-7. And right now, let's go back to the stadiums as the NFL Today continues on CBS.
Okay. Well, at halftime here at Bloomington, Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings continue to lead the Packers 13-7, but it is a strange kind of a game. The Pack has not done a whole lot offensively, but they are still very much in it. And we'll be back here for the second half in just a moment.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
Hi, ever need to rent a car fast? Watch. Hertz, #1 club number 21586, arriving in San Diego at 2 p.m. on RAL Flight 9. Returning it there tomorrow. Okay, thanks. That's all there is to it.
When you're in the #1 club, nobody makes renting a car faster or easier than the Superstar. Even before you get there, your car is pre-assigned, your forms filled out. So rent a Ford fast from Hertz, the Superstar in rent-a-car.
I always wanted to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. After college, I kept working out, running through the streets of Philadelphia. Then, finally, I made it as a 30-year-old rookie. For me, Vince Papale, it was a dream come true. Another dream came true in Philadelphia here in 1776 at Independence Hall. The Liberty Bell rang it out, and Betsy Ross sewed a flag for it. Dreams are still coming true as Philadelphia rebuilds the riverfront and Center City area. These people are dream makers. They're United Way volunteers, neighbors, fans, and teammates working for the mentally ill and retarded, the YMCA, and many other agencies funded by our United Way. Philadelphia wouldn't be the same without them. They take pride in their team, their city, and their United Way. On behalf of the volunteers in the 4-county area of Philadelphia, we'd like to say thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Tim Ryan and Johnny Unitas at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, 13-7. The Vikings lead the Pack. And we are just about to begin the second half with the Packers kicking off. The Vikings defending to our left in their home purple and white. Vikings to our right in white, gold, and green. The deep man is Manfred Moore standing on the 2-yard line. Moore, if you're wondering, and you missed our announcement earlier, just acquired a couple of days ago by Minnesota. They released Keith Hartwig, a rookie from Arizona who had figured to be their return man but has a sprained ankle. And they needed some help there, and they've signed Manfred Moore, ex-Oakland Raider, who played against the Vikings in the Super Bowl a year ago. Short kickoff taken by Robert Miller at the 15-yard line, and Miller works his way out to the 28-yard line of Minnesota. And make it Sammy White, not Robert Miller, 85, not 35, my mistake. And it'll be a first down for the Vikings in pretty good shape at the 27-yard line. Ezra Johnson made the tackle. And that is the story of the first half statistically, but Green Bay with just a 6-point deficit now as they rose up to stop the Vikings on a couple of drives in the second period, and the Vikings hurt themselves with a couple of penalties. McClanahan and Foreman are the running backs. Number 44 is Chuck Foreman to the 35-yard line. An 8-yard gain on the play. Jim Carter and Gary Weaver made the stop.
Tingelhoff in a very fine block that time to spring Foreman coming up the middle out of the I formation. Minnesota uses that play very effectively. They have an outstanding offensive line, and of course they've just been blowing the Green Bay Packers right back on their heels.
2nd and 2. They come out in the pro set. And motion goes McClanahan, number 33. Foreman again. Foreman dipsy-doodling and cannot pick up the first down as they close down that right side. Bob Barber, Dave Purifoy doing the job, and a gain of maybe a yard on the play, and he'll be 3rd and 1. Swilly comes in with Steve Craig in this interesting short yardage alignment the Vikings use. Swilly becomes the tight end. He is normally a backup guard, the rookie from Texas A&M. They say he's got great speed for alignment. He lines up at the tight end, and then they put the extra tight end, Craig or Voigt, depending on the side, kind of on the wing. This is McClanahan, and using that wingback blocking, he gets near the first down, and we'll see if the pack stopped him. It was Jim Carter ranging over number 50 to put the hit on him. But Minnesota does have the first down. Not by much, just enough. We're just underway in the second half here. A beautiful, bright, sunny day. Don't know what it's like where you folks are, but here we can tell you it's beautiful football weather.
1st and 10 for the Vikings at their 38.
Wide left goes Sammy White. Split right is Ahmad Rashad, number 28. Tarkenton, incomplete. Tarkenton wanted to come back to McClanahan on the right side, but the Packers had that covered very well. So he looked for an open man downfield and could not complete it, intended for Sammy White. McCoy on the coverage.
Well, that play deserves another look. Let's watch Francis as he rolls back to his left. He wants to throw a screen back to the right. No one is there. Finally gets downfield, but a good defensive play by the Green Bay Packers nullifies it.
Number 29, second-year cornerback from Colorado, Mike McCoy. Bart Starr very high on that young man, rightfully so. Second down. And forced out by Carter. Vikings got their blockers over there, but again, good pursuit, good coverage on that by the Packers, and Foreman did not get much at all. In the first half, Chuck Foreman rushed for 11 times for 34 yards. He leads everybody in that department. Now he's got 46. So it'll be 3rd down and 9.5, we'll call it.
3rd and 10 for the Vikings at their 38.
And they've got Randolph and Wagner, the Packers do, in there in that 6th defensive back alignment again. Carter and Weaver out. Tarkenton just flipped it. A little backhanded shovel pass intended ostensibly for McClanahan. Number 33. I don't know, John, I saw you throw some strange-looking things under pressure, but I don't know he had that in your repertoire.
Let's have a look at this one. Francis just danced around back there. Goes back up in the middle because he's forcing the ball. Let's look at the move right there. He tries to get it over to Stu Voigt on McClanahan coming across. I guess you could say that it was either going to be completed or it was going to hit the ground. He didn't have any power on that at all.
Good defense by the Packers again as they stop the Vikings. They've shut them down here for the last several series of play. The punt by Claybo. Back for it is Harrell, and Claybo got the wind behind him and really drills it to the 6-yard line. Harrell is dropped inside the 10. Good punt coverage by Minnesota. Studwell, number 55, the rookie, was there. The 9th-round draft choice from Illinois, putting the stop on Harrell. And Claybo, once he got the win, showed he can still punt the ball. And it's 13-7, the Vikings over the Packers here in the 3rd period.
Of all of the small cars to choose from, Ford Pinto offers the kind of value that makes it the best-selling American small car. Pinto has a low price, and over 75% of Pinto's schedule maintenance requirements have been reduced or eliminated. And Pinto has higher resale value than Chevy Chevette. When it comes to small cars, there are a lot to choose from. When it comes to value, look to Ford Pinto, the best-selling American small car. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Alcoa can't wait.
Here they come, pouring in from California and Vermont, from Texas, Oklahoma, and Georgia, from all over the country. Billions of used aluminum cans headed for recycling. Today, about 1 out of 4 aluminum cans is recycled and used again. Tomorrow may be 1 out of 3. Someday, maybe every one of them.